we had the time, I'd just let this run before we even talk. We had the luxury of time, but time is money around here. So certainly I've got to cut into one of my favorite songs, but the good thing I always get the opportunity to run it back again. I always be like, you're programming the station, I drop in that there 2010. Look, hold it there. It's just soothing. It is just such a beautiful song. Mr. Boo Hinkson.
Yeah, my dear.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Please welcome back, because this is home. This is home. Certainly, this is home. And it's not by chance. We're 2 days away.
2 days away.
2 days away from the dynamic, absolutely amazing
Show
the World concert. I'm not even sure. I say concert, and it is a concert, but when I say concert, it just feels like it falls flat because it's so much more. Like, so I have to find a term.
I'll tell you what I
have to find a term. What do you call it?
Well, let me tell you what, man. That came out of Mark Norton and pressing me to do my own signature show. I said, Mark Norton, I ain't want to do no show, man. I'm just used to my phone ringing, or people call my agent and say, we want to book Boo for so and so and so. They tell me, I go perform and settled, and I go home.
No.
This thing to go on Panacon. I said, Mark, I don't want to do that. That's too much headache. And he kept pressing me. And he bypassed me when he talked to Donna.
That's right.
And they started our meetings, and one day they just roped me in.
That's right.
And this thing came about. And then the first time I did it, I thought, oh, this is not bad at all, man. But I'll tell you what I find about that particular concert. The size of the room is just right. Because often I can hear people in the audience shouting something to me.
Right.
What song they want to hear.
Right.
And often it's an old song of mine that I recorded, but not even recently as a solo artist with two tunes. And so there's an intimacy that I enjoy that you can't get, like when we're doing jazz with 10,000 people, or we did Moshi with another 12,000 people, It doesn't happen in that kind of thing because it's just too big.
Right.
In there, I'm doing music that I like to do. And sometimes I even do stuff that is new, that I've written for a young singer, that nobody has heard. And to present it in that kind of setting, where people will respond with such enthusiasm is just very gratifying. So I don't even know, it's like, to me it's more than a concert, But above all, it is what gives me a platform to give opportunity.
That is where I want
to the artists.
That's where I want us to
younger artists.
Exactly.
And I want them to understand that they can do material that does not necessarily appeal to the lower half of the body, where you're going to be whining and gyrating, and that they can enjoy it.
Oh, but mind you, I'm going to bust a wine on this one. That's the best believe.
Groove is undeniable.
So I've gotten the young people to understand that, listen, man, I can do other stuff. I'm good enough to do other stuff.
Yes.
And sometimes when they come into the rehearsal, or I write a song for them, bring them to the studio and say, listen, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want it to sound, And we go through that thing. And after a while, they begin to get it and they begin to feel it and realize, listen, I am really better than I think I am.
Right.
And so for me, that is the bigger part of the thing that I enjoy more than anything else.
Right. It is important because we just popped into Mekondi outside there.
Yeah.
And most of the time, well, he gets it as a younger person, but most of the younger people in the industry are normally drawn into, or maybe coerced into, or maybe, it's just the hype of everything that is going on. The family, the trending things, so they tend to be in this space where that is what appeals to them, and then not until a lot of them unfortunately happens to fall into that bracket, and they have a whole wealth of talent.
And they're much better than that. They're much better, but they don't know.
They don't know, and then they get to later in the years when half their life or their musical career has passed, and they're realizing now that it's not sustainable where I'm at, or the path I took, and by that time, for some of them, thankfully, they can make but then some again just give up. totally at that point, because
Yeah,
the frustration
yeah.
hits at that point, and they realize, wow, I could have done so much more.
Exactly, and not
Yeah.
the important thing that they have to understand also is that there's what we refer to something as bubblegum music, you know, and they jump at that thing because that is the in thing. That's what's.
Right.
But if you don't succeed at that, you fall by the wayside very quickly.
No, I like the term bubblegum music because I got a visual right there.
Chew
You
it up,
throw on a little
spit
bubble
it
gum,
out.
but not only that, after a while it
You
takes
spit
losing
it
the
out,
flavor.
and
And
then
Sometimes it's referred to as disposable music.
explosive music.
You understand?
Ah.
But when you get them to do stuff that is better than that, they realize, listen, I am good. And I keep telling them, listen, you're very good, but you must decide what you want to be and what kind of artist you want to be. You must decide what part of the market you want to capture.
Yes.
You must decide what niche you want. And say, well, something that I do something for them or with them and say, I don't know if I can do it. I say, yeah, you can do it.
Is it a either or can it be balanced?
Well,
From a veteran like you, I'd like to know.
from a marketing perspective,
Uh-huh.
you can run into problems because, for instance, my people that handle me in the US, they want me to go in a certain direction. They don't want me to be all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They don't want me all over the place because they say, listen, we don't know how to market you because you're doing this, you're doing that.
Right.
So,
okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
But what I will say is that there's some music that will definitely give you more longevity.
Right.
You will last longer in the market. There are very few guys that will do very highly commercial stuff and last for generations. Very few. It happens to very few artists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Take a Marshall Montano. Marshall has been there from when I first brought Marshall to St. Lucia. He wasn't even a teenager yet, and that's the days when I actually he was a little boy.
Right.
Marshall is still at the top of his game today.
Absolutely.
But how many Marshall Montanos are there in the Caribbean? You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing where you have to understand you have to understand the market and what will work for you. You have to understand what you bring to the market.
Yeah.
And what you can master. And because sometimes you go in with the flow, with the bubblegum and the disposable music, and you can't master that.
Exactly.
It might seem
You might have a one little successful.
it might be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, one hit. Exactly.
You know, so it's that's the
But
kind of
with
thing
sustainable music.
I try to talk to the young people about, and especially if I see them that are very talented, I often try to give them music or write songs for them that will bring out the best in them.
Right.
Not necessarily something that's going to have mass appeal, but it's going to bring out the best in them, to let them understand how, listen, so they can say after, I'm really good. Look at, this is me singing there, you know, with a top song. And that's what I try to give them every year at Show the World.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the platform now created. This time around, we're in for another treat. Like you said, what's the spread? Because, of course, that hub is where musicians come together, singers, instruments, you know, so much happens on that one little intimate stage on that night.
Well, this year I brought in Tony.
Right.
Tony is here with me now.
Tony was here for jazz.
Tony was here for jazz. Right. Tony, talk, man. You talk.
Yeah.
Tony, you were here for jazz. This is home again. You understand?
Yeah.
The second home.
I mean, I had a really, really amazing time, and I think the thing that kind of, well, I wouldn't say surprises, but
Was that the first time you worked with Boo?
We had recorded together before.
You had recorded, but never did a live
physically.
thing.
Oh, no.
There was a jazz artist on the greens in Trinidad where
Oh,
Boo popped through, and it's like, Tony, you should come and do a song with me, and that was the first time I actually played with Boo, and we had a really, really lovely conversation.
Right.
But I think the thing that always pleasantly surprises me, like both the last time I came and then this time being in rehearsal yesterday, is that there's a genuine, like, it comes across that there's a genuine love for the thing that people are doing in the rehearsal and on stage.
Right.
And the music is what takes the center stage.
Nice.
Right? So it's not, because honestly, Boo could have the biggest ego. He doesn't. But the level of
Exactly.
musician
He
is, he could have the biggest ego
I
because
agree
he's
totally.
that great a musician, and in terms of the things that he's done, you could list off, like you could continue going with that long list.
Yeah.
But there's this really warm, giving kind of atmosphere that's in those rehearsals. And the first time I came for jazz, I'm always blown away by that kind of that environment. And the musicians are all fantastic, and they're giving and friendly. And
Is it something you're not in the industry that
Well,
because you're in the industry?
yeah.
It's not something that you're used to.
I think it's variable. So in some spaces you get it, and then in other spaces it's not present so
Some
much.
It's
So
more than
it really depends on who you run into and what experience you have, because there's some musicians that will tell you really, really great stories about the people that they've worked with, and then other musicians that when you hear it, it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds like a horror, right?
certainly.
But thankfully for me, I've always had the good fortune of working with musicians that put the right thing first.
Nice.
Right? And I think what Boo is saying about just realizing that even if you're doing something, whether it's bubblegum music or not, that's not the full extent of who you can be or who you are. So identifying and recognizing that you are capable of a whole range of different things, even if you focus on one thing at one time, gives you that leeway to not just put everything into that creatively, so that should you decide to change or shift, you've already been checking out the stuff, you've already been interacting with musicians in different spaces and being very open. And I think music requires you to be open as opposed to just about yourself and just kind of focus on some very limiting things. So for me, being in this space, it's like a vacation,
Certainly.
because that's the enjoyment and the warmth that I get in this space.
No, you spoke about the rehearsals.
Yeah.
Obviously, you would have had the opportunity to mingle with some of the young people
Yeah.
that Boo has created the
Yeah.
platform for. What is your thought? What's your take?
My thought is that the Caribbean is very small, and we have so much talent here, and the opportunity for young talent to work with seasoned musicians is so critical, because we have the talent. We just need to be able to refine it and give them the space to realize that, you know what, I'm a world-class musician, and it doesn't matter whether I'm from St. Lucia or Trinidad or Barbados or anywhere else in the Caribbean, that we sometimes feel so small because of where we're from.
Yeah.
But we have the potential to be world-class musicians that can compete on the same level as anyone else.
Absolutely.
But knowing that and believing that comes from senior musicians giving us those spaces and being supportive. And when we're doing things that are not, and I'm not going to use certain language on radio, obviously, but, when you're doing things that, and them saying, well, you know what, you should not do that, you should check this out, you should do this, you should do that, and us or younger musicians having the grace to not just be offended by someone giving us feedback, but saying, you know what, I may not 100% agree with what you're saying, but I understand the spirit with which you are sharing this information.
Right.
So
Well,
out
trust
of-
your wisdom
and trust your wisdom. So
Yeah.
I'm going to check it out. I may not end up there, but
still.
I'm going to check it out. And
Right.
I think the platform that the Show the World gives for the young musicians, particularly in St. Lucia, is so important and so critical. And the musicians that I heard, the singers and that young violin player.
Oh yes, Michael.
Mike, yeah.
He's so nice.
Yes,
And talented?
yes.
Very.
Yes. So, I mean, I was vibing in rehearsal yesterday, and I think that is going to be an amazing show. And I was checking on social media at the Show the World Instagram page and seeing photos from previous concerts.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell that the audience normally they dress up.
Oh
and
yeah,
they go
man.
out.
Look,
It's a whole experience. It's a whole experience.
Listen, it is. It
Yeah.
certainly is.
And
we look forward to it.
We need those things where we can go out and show our excellence as, black people.
Exactly.
Dress up nice.
Yes,
and,
why not?
And do things
We're deserving.
that we deserve.
We're deserving of it.
And you know what, Tony? It is in with regard to what you're saying. Yesterday when we were rehearsing, right, we had one of the guys doing a song. He's a very good singer, but we also had Tony Momrell there. Tony Momrell is a friend of mine. Tony was born in England. Tony has worked with Sade. He worked with Robert Palmer. He worked with Gloria Estefan, with Celine Dion. Now he's the singer with Incognito. So Tony's very experienced.
Very much.
And some of what he was explaining to one of the singers yesterday, is exactly what I want to happen. To bring people like Tony that can
impart.
And the singer you're talking to is very good singer. But just that little bit of advice can improve on what you're doing by 50%.
Right.
So just that opportunity for these younger singers to rub shoulders with somebody as experienced as Tony Momrell, it's great. And Tony, with all his success, having worked with Celine Dion, with Robert Palmer, with Gloria Estefan, with Sade. As a matter of fact, when he leaves here, he's going back to England and they're going to do some more work with Sade. They're going to be releasing some new stuff.
Nice.
And just the fact that I can create that avenue so that these younger singers can get exposed to somebody like Tony.
And then network.
And then network.
Exactly.
It's
Critical
gratifying.
part of it. We have had some success stories as well from previous shows.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
mentioned what's her name? There's a young lady. What's her name again?
Which one? From before?
No, man, the one previously.
Oh,
you had a young lady that
Krista
was Krista
Bailey. She did Asia with me.
Thank you. Exactly.
And this girl toyed up. And guess what happened? Let me tell you what, Krista, we did all these rehearsals and for the tour. And then when we hit by the second concert we did in Taichung, 50,000 people in the park, and there's Krista singing up a storm there.
Right.
And that was the first time the girl had ever been on a big tour. First time.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So certainly a very, very critical avenue being created.
And you can see now she's beginning to get into her own and believe in herself. And although sometimes I still have to tell her, listen, you're very good, You're very good. You have to believe.
Yes.
You have to understand how good you are. Because if you don't teach the young people to understand how good they are and they don't believe, they just give up.
Yes.
And you don't want that to happen, especially if they're very talented.
Or people take advantage of them because
people take advantage.
That's another thing
because
again.
they don't have that.
You know what?
Yes.
Yeah.
One night, it was after the sound check last year for Show the World, the young violin player. I was taking him home. I said to him, so he said to me, I heard you talking to my father about how much I am to be paid. I have to tell you there'll be no charge. So I was shocked. I said, I mean there'll be no charge. I must pay you. Said to me, no, because the opportunity I'm getting there and the exposure I'll get from this concert, I understand. But I still made it a point to talk to his father about fame,
Exactly.
And he told me since then his career has just exploded.
Exactly.
And about a month ago, he sent me a WhatsApp saying to me, I just want to thank you because the best thing, having you as my mentor is the best thing that has happened to me. And I thought that was so gratifying. It was so gratifying to get it from a young man like that. You know what I'm saying?
So we understand why we're here.
Yeah.
Definitely, this is
we have
important.
to. People like Tony and myself have an obligation to
create this avenue.
For the younger musicians.
Absolutely.
I have to tell you that sometimes it's difficult to deal with some of them.
I know.
Because
I know.
Because if you have a young person who's gotten no attention from anybody, and then he gets a song, puts it on the radio, and he hears himself on the radio.
Oh, poor little head.
It's difficult for that not to.
Poor little head explode.
It's difficult for that not to go to his head if he's not well grounded,
Yeah.
And then he thinks he's very good, and then he thinks he's made it. But that's just St. Lucia and a handful of people, And the thing is much bigger than that,
Exactly.
So I've taken these young people everywhere with me. But when I went to the White House, I insisted I took a young artist with me because I was given the opportunity to bring 5 people. And among the 5, I said to Donna, listen, I must bring a young person with me because they must experience that. They must understand what it is to operate at that level.
Yes, important.
What's possible. Yeah.
What's possible.
You know,
Dream
so
big.
you have to take them on the journey with you, and that's how they grow. Because otherwise, how are you going to pass it on?
Yeah.
You know, so the platform I create for these young people and show the world and write songs for them and bring them to the studio, record the songs and release them. You know, as a matter of fact, I have quite a few songs to release in the new year. You know, I even have a song I wrote for Krista and that is going to be recorded with Krista and Arthur Ale.
Nice.
And I have another one there. I'm quite decided who's going to do it yet, but a lot of material, and all of it is going to be done by younger artists.
Right.
And so by the time Show the World comes on next year,
right,
I already have new material.
Wonderful. But we you see, sure. The rest of this thing, you know, you want to get you want to really experience what it is we're trying to talk about here. We can be here for the rest of the night, and we will. This conversation will not go anywhere in terms of there's so much to say, on this, you know. So tomorrow, Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. So we have Barbara Cadet.
Right.
We have Tony here with me, Woodrow from Trinidad.
Absolutely.
And Tony did the Sting concert with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a saxophone player.
Right.
And he's doing a feature song that's I know a lot of the young ladies like, so he's going to woo them.
Certainly.
I have to tell them Tony's married, so
yeah, Tony, hi Tony. Yeah,
take it easy.
I have to remind Tony himself that he's married. You know? So I know what happens with the saxophone because when I brought Eric Darius, they went crazy.
Yes, that's right. Oh, okay.
And then we have Shannon Pinnell from Viewfort,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Krista Bailey, and we have Michael Fletcher, the young violin player, and we have Wilburn. Wilburn is an awesome singer.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Tony Mongrel.
Right.
So we're in for a treat on
Absolutely.
Saturday, trust me.
Wonderful. And person still have
And
the
Tony is,
opportunity.
in fact, doing, remember last year we did a tribute to Luther Vandross?
Yes.
Tony's doing a tribute to Stevie Wonder.
Oh.
And that's
there are
what,
horns on it as well.
Wow, come on.
So
that's
like
this is too much now.
The full experience.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. This
Yeah.
is something right.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
Fast
man.
forward to Saturday.
And there's one song we're doing with just 3 saxophones with Tony, Barbara Cadet, and Glenn Henry.
Wow.
And it's pure groove.
So all in all, we're in for a treat. Boo, thank you so very much for creating that platform. First up, Mark, nothing big up yourself because it all started with you.
Without Mark,
Yeah,
Mark
it
not
all
would never
started with
have.
you and your vision, and it is just exciting to see where this is headed. And I know it could, this is just the beginning as well because there
Just the
could be
beginning.
so much more for this happening right there. Tony, thank you for welcome back
Thank you for
again,
having us.
and all the best on Saturday. I'll see you guys then. We're
Yes.
gonna be dressing up nice.
Nice.
We are outside.
We outside.
You're outside, right?
We outside.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely. Ronald Boo Hinkson and of course Tony and the rest of the cast is going to be joining them come this Saturday for another amazing Show the World concert. You still have opportunity to link some of the members and get yourself on the inside, but if you can, you should be there. Trust me, it's not something you want to miss. All right, we're getting set. When we come back, we're going to be having 1/2 hour with the compliments of ecstatic events, so stick around for that.
This Christmas, the biggest sale on houseware and home appliances is starting as early as right now. Shop at Casabella today and save 40, 50 and 60% off store-wide. Bath sets and shower curtains, blenders, toaster ovens and a wide variety of kitchenware. All going at 40, 50 and 60% off. Plates and non-stick pans, baking dishes, pressure cookers and sandwich makers. Mugs, glasses, 40, 50 and 60% off. Fans, clocks and plastic chairs and lots more. It's our pre-Christmas blowout sale. Shop now and save 40, 50 and 60% off on all houseware and home appliances. tickets only at Casabella, located in Cash Trees and Baywalk Mall, Rodney Bay. Sale starts October 26.
At Magical, we offer the Serenity Plan that allows you to make decisions about your final send-off, cover your funeral costs, and go towards any outstanding affairs like loans. Let's ensure your goodbye can be done with dignity. Contact us at Magical today for a free quote. 458-2300. Magical Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
Stargadays! It's a vibe with a difference. This and every Friday from 6 p.m. It's all going down inside Twist for One Bar in Grand Riviera Grocery. Enjoy ice cold stack beer on special 2 for $5 all nights. Also, get a chance to win amazing prizes after purchasing 2 stack beer. Music by Pro Entertainment alongside DJ Mega B. This and every Friday. Come enjoy great music, great vibes, and ice cold stack beer. Stargadays! Everybody, link up!
Are you tired of constantly having to repaint? Then it's time to level up your paint game with Harris Paints. With Quantum I-12 technology, Harris gives you better colors that last longer and takes less coats. So level up your savings with up to 30% off select Harris Paints and primers. Then play for chances to win over $10,000 in prizes with 75 instant grocery and gas vouchers plus our grand prize of $3,000 cash. Now that's a level up only from Harris Paints.
On December 12th, Darren Sammy Cricket Ground comes alive as Ecstatic Events presents Calypso Gold, featuring from Trinidad and Tobago, Parang King Crazy.
Why is Christmas Day?
10-time Road March King Super Blue.
Are you ready to go home? No.
Calypso legend David Rudder.
Are we the man with the hammer God?
And from St. Lucia, TC Brown, Herb Black, Black Eye, and many more. All backed up by Invasion Band with Brass. Tickets cost $120 regular and $350 VIP. Limited early bird tickets are available. Get them from Steve's Barbershop and all the sale outlets. Gates open at 6 p.m., showtime 8 p.m. Sponsored by KFC, Digicel, ATV Experience, and White Oak Rum. Calypso Gold, 12th December. Darren